Mismong si Pangulong Marcos nagulat nang biglang pumalag sa China ng mga Pinoy. Nilusob ang Chinese Coast Guard. Base sa balitang kumakalat, pumalag sa China ang mga mangingisdang Pinoy matapos subukang pataubing kanilang bangka ng mga Chinese Coast Guard. Kwento ng mangingisda, papatulan na nila sana itong mga Chino kung hindi lang nila iniisip itong bansa. Total pumasok naman daw ang China sa ating teritoryo. Gusto na silang pagbubugbugin ng mga mangingisda pero iniiwasan daw nilang malaking gulo kaya sila na lang daw nagparaya.
Kung hindi lang masama na patulan yung mga yun eh. Patulan namin eh, iniisip na namin sir kasi pag pinatulan namin yun, malaking gulo. Sabi ko, this is Philippine territory. Sabi ko, go away, sabi ko sa Chinese. Hindi na umimik.
Sabi?
Kasi mangot lang sir. Hanggat maaari sana nga sir, maganda mabawi yun eh. Mabalik sa atin sir yung karapatan sa Escarburo. Kasi nga yung karapatan doon sir, nasa mga Chinese na eh. Sila na nagbabantay doon eh. Yung po ang hinabantayan namin sir, baka bigla kami paluin.
Pero base sa inilabas na survey, 72% ng mga Pilipino ang naniniwalang kailangan ng gamitin sa China ang military action ni BBM. Ayon sa political science analyst, hindi ibig sabihin ng military action ay gegerahin na natin ng China sa WPS, kundi gagamit lang tayo ng Navy sa pagpapatrolya. Pakita natin kaya nating ipagtanggol lang WPS.
Kailangan lang iklaro na ang ibig sabihin sa survey ng military action ay hindi gigirahin. Kung hindi, i-expand yung ating naval patrols din sa lugar na ginagawa na natin at i-expand yung troop presence na plano naman na ating gobyernong gawin. Ang importante yung ma-appreciate dito, nagbabago na yung perception kaya kailangan may gawin para ma-reduce yung tension sa lugar. Kasi nagbabago na ang perception ng tao tungkol dito and people want more assertive. They want to be more assertive as far as majority of the Filipinos want to be more assertive as far as the WPS is concerned.
Babala pa ng DND, iwasan na lang daw ng Pilipinas ang magsolo-solo sa West Philippine Sea dahil matapang lang daw itong si China pag wala tayong kasama sa West Philippine Sea.
The best advice I can give is huwag magsusolo-solo ang maliliit na fishermen. A lot of times also we have fishermen rescued at sea because nagsosolo. We have contingency measures and long-term plans on the West Philippine Sea. However, for incident response, it is the National Task Force on the West Philippine Sea, particularly in Bajo de Masinloc, which is a Coast Guard and a BFAR area. But that doesn't go to say that we do not condemn the act of China, which it has no business doing in harassing Filipino fishermen.
Pero ayon sa PCG, sa totoo itong si Wang Silian ang totoong nanloloko sa PCG dahil matapos tayong hindi pumayag sa halok niyang atian, kinabukasan hinaras na tayo ng CCG dahil kahit kailan hindi papayag si BBM magkaroon ng hatian, sagot sa China ng PCG.
Actually, yan nga yung isa sa mga counter statement ko when Ambassador Wang Silian mentioned that we should meet halfway. That was his exact phrase, meeting halfway. But for the Philippine Coast Guard, I think we're not actually, there's no reason for us to meet halfway, because they are the one going beyond that half partition. Kumbaga sila sumobra. There's no halfway into this kasi it's not the Philippine government who is provoking them, harassing their Chinese fishermen. It is them. There's no halfway kasi tayo ang nasa posisyon na tayo ang argabyado. So, as to the question, etong aggression na ba nangyari January 12, so they can have an excuse na January 17 naman tayo nag-usap It's still not an excuse, no? Because, as I said, no, based on the international law, what they're doing is actually a violation of it. Well, I think hindi nila tayo mababaliktad kasi yung Chinese Coast Guard personnel na dineploy doon, they never really expected na yung mga Filipino fishermen will be having a device, no, para ma-record yung insidente. And it was very clear, no, the intention only of the Chinese Coast Guard personnel who were deployed there is to drive them away. So I doubt kung meron silang equipment na dala-dala para to release their own version of story. Ang nangyari dito sa insidente na to, no, na kinonfirm namin kahapon, is that it was reported to the Philippine Coast Guard by some of our media friends that there is this video circulating in social media na merong experience ang mga Filipino fishermen na harassment, no? Na China Coast Guard na naman daw ang hara. So I think that was uploaded around January 19 evening. So ang instruction for us is to locate who is the source of this video to really confirm and validate whether these videos are recently taken or these are really authentic videos na nangyari na na-experience talaga ng mga mangingisda na Pilipino. And we were able to identify naman kung sino ito last January 20. And we approached yung person na nag-upload nito, and he was kind enough naman to cooperate and also submit a sworn statement, no? Para patunayan na yung inilabas niyang video na yon ay talagang nangyari ng January 12. So the affidavit, I have already presented this to the media, and also the videos that he uploaded, binigay niya rin naman sa amin, and also we share it to you. Well, with our limitation of mandate, for the Philippine Coast Guard, our primary role is for us to document all these incidents, to support the national government in looking for people as source and ask them to submit affidavit. And then after we completed this report, we are going to forward this to the National Task Force West Philippine Sea. And from there, of course, the Department of Foreign Affairs is part of that National Task Force interagency, to include the Department of Justice. And of course, it's their role now, no? Whether the DFA will push for any diplomatic action or the DOJ will also assist. It's for them to respond to as to whatever legal or diplomatic actions the national government will take. Ang national government po natin sa pag-utos po ng ating Pangulo, President BongBong Marcos, ay may commitment po, no, na pangalagaan at protektahan ang kapakanan ng ating mga Pilipinong mangingisda. Sa amin po sa Philippine Coast Guard, sa pamumuno po ng ating komandante na si Admiral Ronnie Hilcavan, at ang paggabay po ng ating National Security Advisor na si General Eduardo Año, makakaasa pa rin po ang ating mga mangingisda na patuloy pa rin po nating i-deploy ang ating Coast Guard vessels dito. At kung sa mga instances na wala po ang Coast Guard, we will see to it na the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources will still be there to see to it na protektado at mapapangalagaan ang karapatan ng mga Pilipinong mangingisda. Dahil po dito, inaasahan po namin patuloy pa rin po tayong magkakaroon ng paniniwala sa gobyerno, at hindi natin ikakatakot ang presensya ng China Coast Guard sa presensya nila sa Baho de Masinloc. We still encourage our Filipino fishermen to go there and fish, dahil naniniwala po tayo na ang yaman sa West Philippine Sea ay para sa Pilipino. As I said, we can only wish that it won't happen again, but for the Philippine Coast Guard, since then and now, and the national government, we always wanted not to escalate the tension. We are willing to ensure that we're going to have peaceful settlement with any other claimant states in the West Philippine Sea. But of course, we also do not want our Filipino fishermen, the Chinese Coast Guard, the Philippine Coast Guard, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, to every time that we deploy our assets or every time that the Filipino fishermen are engaged in fishing, will be harassed. That's why, as I said, we can just hope that the Chinese government will honor whatever promises that they made during the last meeting of January 17. For the Philippine Coast Guard, the instruction of the President has been very clear, no? For us to maintain presence in Baho de Masinloc, and to make sure that we're going to have a constant presence of our vessels, to make sure that we're going to protect the interests of the Filipino fishermen. Unfortunately, kung ang tanong ng ninyo ay bakit wala kasing Coast Guard doon, kung it was the commitment, no, to our President na magkaroon tayo ng presensya dito. To tell you honestly, there is a rotational deployment naman ng limited number of the Philippine Coast Guard vessels. And that's the reason why we also coordinate with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, with the understanding that if the Coast Guard vessels are not there, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources can be able to fill up dun sa absence ng Philippine Coast Guard. However, itong panahon na to kasi, nagkaroon ng overlap ng rotational deployment. For the Philippine Coast Guard vessels, it has other areas to patrol. And I think also the same time with the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Siguro moving forward, both the Philippine Coast Guard and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources will coordinate on maintaining our presence. No? We have to make sure that on those instances that when the Coast Guard is patrolling in different areas, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources has to make sure na nandun yung barko nila. Ang issue lang naman lagi ng China Coast Guard is for the Chinese fishermen, for the Filipino fishermen to be prevented to go inside Bajo de Masinloc. Well, we cannot say na tama ang ginawa nila or tayo sumobra or sila sumobra. I think what is very important for us to remember is that Bajo de Masinloc was already decided by the 2016 arbitral ruling that this is a traditional fishing ground both for the Filipinos, the Chinese, and even the Vietnamese. Ibig sabihin, it's not exclusive for the Chinese to say na sila ang may full sovereignty dito, but even the Filipino fishermen also have our own rights, no, to allow our Filipino fishermen to fish in these areas. Di ba dun sa video na kinonfirm namin, meron mga fishermen na hinaharas talaga directly kasi from afar yung video eh. Ngayon, ang ginawa ng Coast Guard is to locate yung mga naka-experience talaga ng actual harassment. O yung may green na bangka na hinawakan pa ng China Coast Guard. So we were able to locate them na rin sila, and they are on their way pa siguro tomorrow morning ang dating nila sa botas. And then hopefully by tomorrow morning din, mai-represent na namin sila sa media for you to be able to ask them directly ang kanilang experiences. And we are also hoping na meron silang, kasi mga Filipino fishermen ngayon, they are confident now na the videos that they are taking every time na hinaharas sila will be shared publicly at may papakita kung paano sila naharas. So tingin ko itong mga Filipino fishermen na to na naka-experience talaga ng harassment will have more interesting videos to share tomorrow. Pero I'll check kung ano oras tomorrow.
Ngayon, ikaw bilang Pilipino, ano ang masasabi mo at reaksyon sa balitang ito? Mag-iwan ka ng komento sa ibaba at atin pong babasahin isa-isa.